Just a quick little update. I just want to say thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. We just hit 100 subscribers. That is an amazing milestone for this channel since it got relaunched back in April. Just all the love and support from everybody has been amazing. So again, thank you guys so much. I made a special video that I just posted yesterday, so please check that out. And yeah, I just cannot wait to pump out more videos for this channel. We got a long road ahead. So again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and love you guys very much. But now let's talk about one of my favorite horror movies of this year, because woo baby, it is worth the talk. Let's talk about it. Alien Romulus is directed by Fede Alvarez, and this is the 7th entry into the Alien franchise, which is set in between the events of Alien and Aliens. And the plot of the movie is, while scavenging the deep ends of an abandoned space station, a group of young space colonists come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe. So I'm a big fan of Fede Alvarez. His work on the Evil Dead remake and his Don't Breathe movies are really good. He knows how to capture like the tension, that dark atmosphere within a horror movie, and for him to jump on board to an Alien movie, I mean, it just makes sense. So it was a no-brainer that I was excited to watch Alien Romulus, and I gotta tell you guys, I freaking love this movie. Probably one of my favorite sci-fi horror movies I've seen in a very long time, and we gotta talk about it. The set designs and practical effects alone really make up this movie. I mean, there is some beautiful scenery in this film. I mean, even just the beginning shots of the movie where you're at a mining colony planet and everything just looks so dreadful and dark. You jump onto the abandoned space station, which just gives that creepy paranoia vibe that you get in an Alien movie, but much more darker. And with all that setup being shown, it kind of just displays how the rest of the movie is gonna play out, which is very scary. And of course, the xenomorphs and facehuggers are at full display in Romulus, and I gotta say, they are creepy as hell. Those facehuggers, very creepy. The xenomorphs, I like how they use practical effects on them, and they are just terrifying in their own form. And the fact that, you know, Fede Alvarez was still able to capture that same magic within the past Alien movies to bring it on to this film is an achievement. And it kind of blows my mind because there's a lot of people who don't like this movie, which I'm very shocked by. A lot of hardcore Alien fans are really giving it a negative review because the movie tends to be like this fan service or greatest hits movie, which I don't really see that. I think it's good that they take all the good elements from the good Alien movies and put it onto Romulus. If anything, it enhances the movie itself, and really I think it's just fine the way it is. I mean, yeah, there are a few callbacks to certain scenes in older Alien movies, but it never really distracted me. I think it just kind of flowed with the movie and didn't really like startled me or made me like second guess about that particular moment or speech. What I got to see in this movie was aliens trying to attack our 6 main characters in this movie, and the fact that we even have 6 characters in this film, if you really think about it, it's a really short cast, but they were at full display here, and I was surprised how well contained they were all within the space station that they were going towards. I would say the 2 main protagonists of this movie is Kaylee Spaney playing Rain. I think she does a phenomenal job in this movie, and some of the scenes that she gets to work with her co-star David Johnson playing Andy, I think she does a great job in this movie. And some of the cooler action moments that she gets to have, especially towards the 2nd and 3rd act of this movie, I think she nails everything about this character. And as I mentioned, David Johnson playing Andy, I mean, I gotta tell you, man, probably one of my favorite performances of the year so far. I think the way they made his character, which I don't want to go into spoilers of what he really is, but the range of emotions and intellect that he has to put to this character is really well done. I do think Johnson has a great future ahead of him, and I hope to see him in more movies and hopefully another Alien movie in the near future. Now, with the remaining cast in this movie, which I guess we can kind of go into my negatives of the film, and I would say they're more nitpicks I didn't really feel an emotional core with the remaining cast. I mean, like, they had some interesting plot points in the movie, but at the same time, I just didn't really feel any emotional attachment towards them. Maybe a little bit towards Isabella Marquez's character. I mean, even her character has an interesting arc, especially in the third act, that I was like blown away, which we'll get into later on. But I just didn't really feel any connection with the other characters. And like I was saying before, it's a really small cast. I mean, it's really just 6 people plus another character, which I can't spoil, but they use this character's likeness, and it's a homage to, I guess, the first Alien movie. And I'm really surprised what I saw on screen with this character, and it's a bit uncanny, but I kind of grew into it. And I know for sure there's gonna be a lot of die-hard Alien fans gonna be like, why would you use this character's likeness in this movie? But regardless, I think it was a fun addition to the movie, and I think it kind of makes sense for this plot as well. But I do wish this movie added maybe 2 or 3 more characters in this film. I mean, it's no surprise that in an Alien movie, people are going to die, and yeah, I would say most of the characters in this movie do die. But again, we're talking about almost a 2-hour runtime with a couple people slowly dying in this movie, and I would have liked to add more characters in the movie to see more deaths. I know it sounds psychotic, but the fact that these xenomorphs and face huggers are terrifying, I mean, they do a good job really taking their time to execute these characters, but I think we could have added a bit more, especially a bit more gore. It's more goop and slime than blood, but I think it's fine the way it is. Now, regarding the third act of this movie, I gotta tell you, there's a lot of mixed response within those last 20-30 minutes of this movie. And I gotta tell you,
because I like it, and I love it. I'm saying, I'm just itching. I'm itching to do it again, and you think what? You think you're gonna send me to a nut house?
Yeah, I freaking love the third act of this movie, and I cannot say spoilers because I want you guys to go into this movie blind and experience what I experienced. But oh my god, it is the most terrifying moments I've seen in horror this year. Big swing to take in a movie like this, and I think they executed perfectly. And I mean, everybody involved in those scenes are really good, and just what I got to see itself, this particular thing is haunting, and I was just eating every minute of it because it was just so good and well executed, and that's why this movie is just freaking awesome. So I did the best I can to express my thoughts on Alien Romulus without giving too much of spoilers, but just to sum up everything, I love the atmosphere, set designs, practical effects of this movie. I think it's a well-directed movie, and it's a well-made movie too. I mean, it's one of the more great looking movies I've seen within sci-fi. I mean, last week I got to see Borderlands, which was a pile of shit. This is a great refresher to remind me that yes, movies are still here, there's still good movies out there, and Alien Romulus proves that. The cast itself is good, especially Kaylee Spaney as Rain and David Johnson playing Andy. Those two are definitely a standout, and I cannot wait to see them in more movies, and hopefully more Alien movies. The xenomorphs and face huggers are still terrifying, especially after all the movies have been released. This movie finds a way to make them more scarier, and especially a third act conclusion that still blows my mind, and that's why I freaking love Alien Romulus. That's why I'm gonna give this movie a 4.5 out of 5. It's a high recommendation for me. It is one of my favorite sci-fi horror movies of this year, and if you're a fan of horror and sci-fi and the Alien franchise, you're definitely going to enjoy this movie. And if you're a die-hard fan, I would say go easy on it. It's a movie, for Christ's sake. Don't just criticize it because it didn't have what you really wanted. I think this is gonna be good for new fans to come to this movie and for people who really appreciate horror. But with all that being said, leave a comment down below what you think of Alien Romulus, and if you're gonna talk about spoilers, please use that spoiler tag down below. Let's have a great discussion on this movie. And if you dislike this movie, please in detail tell me why you didn't like this movie, because I'm very, very curious. Again, this is a movie that has some very mixed reception. I think it's leaning towards a positive, but there's a lot of negative that's a little more louder than the positive, so I definitely want to hear everyone's opinion on this movie. And that's gonna do it for me, guys, so have a great week. Keep watching movies, and again, thank you guys so much for letting this channel hit 100 subscribers. Your support and appreciation definitely means a lot. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.